Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Of course, every time we watch this team play, I'm talking about Gujarat Titans, it always keeps you at the edge of the seat because you know that they've got two people with nerves of steel towards the end. Let it be Rahul Tiwaria, and this time around it was Rashid Khan, who came back to haunt his former team. You saw it from the reaction of Mutaya Mullidhan, who is never unfazed with anything as to how much he is missing Rashid Khan in his own camp. But then, of course, I am someone who believes in poetic justice, and this is as perfect as it can get. I'm joined by Nikhil to talk about the
Yeah,
game. Let's talk about it. 195 any day, you would say there's a pass score on this pitch because that onslaught by Shashank Singh was top notch, wasn't it?
yeah, definitely. At the halfway mark, I don't think a lot of us gave Gujarat any chance. Even though you knew that they have the likes of Hardik Gill and Miller, and of course the Tewati and Rashid Khan, but it did feel enough, especially with the way SRH have bowled. But I think it was Saha who first set it up really well for not Hyderabad and Gujarat. I think they erred a lot in their lines to Saha. They were far too straight, and Saha isn't someone who's going to. He's someone who puts the bad ball away. Let's put it that way. He's not going to let the bad balls go unpunished, and he played his role to perfection. Uh, Gill got a beauty, and I think a lot of the Gujarat batters got a lot of beauties from Umran. But at the end, I think I can't. There is nothing to describe how it finished, but yeah, it did look set up for a very good Hyderabad win, especially when Umran took 5 wickets.
Definitely. I forgot to mention Saha as well, another former team man coming to haunt them. And of course, today Saha will be getting a lot of calls from various journalists for an interview. I hope he accepts some of them as well. So, of course, getting ahead with that. Let's talk about Umran Malik. I know that we have to talk about this lad. Every time on our lives, we're just so excited by Umran Malik, isn't it? Because he just gets better and better with every spell he balls. And today was just top notch. Because in my opinion, it was one of the finest spells balled by an Indian fast bowler in IPL history. What did you make of it?
Yeah, definitely. It was one of the most memorable ones for sure. I think what also stands out for me is the planning, and
Right.
of course the execution is key. But the planning, because if you see when Hardik came in, he went really short, then bowled one length. It was the quickest ball of the match till then, and then he bowled short and placed that fielder perfectly for that top edge. So it tells you how much thought process is going behind that entire setup of his bowling.
Yeah.
You wonder why that had not happened with Jansen towards the end. But it was again, there could be disagreement. But I don't think bowling Jansen in the last over was a safe call, even though he had 22 on board. Uh,
Right.
because the way Rashid and Rahul Tewate have batted, you know they're looking for just length. And Jansen usually does bowl length, or even if it's short, you can line him up, and that's what happened today.
I mean, cricket is such a good leveler, isn't it? Last time around, when he bowled at first over, he picked up 3 wickets. At this time, he just went for 18 in his first over, and also in the last over, he went for plenty. That's why you like cricket because such a leveler, it just brings you from top to nothing in no time.
Yeah,
But let's talk about the way in which SRH progressed as well. Do you reckon,
yeah,
in batting they were a little short because 195 you would take it, but then at the same time, someone like someone like Williamson should have carried on because yet again he fell to Mohammad Shami. What is it with him and Mohammad Shami? Let's talk about that matchup because the fifth time in a row, and many fantasy players across the world would have actually been, would have had that in the mind that they won't keep Williamson because even last time around, that
yeah,
LBW call was not taken by the Gujarat Titans, or he was gone the first ball
yes.
as well. So what is
Yeah.
it? Let's talk about that matchup now.
I think it is just the way the two function. I think Shami bowls very tight lines, especially with the new ball. And Williamson is someone who plays very late. Sometimes you feel almost too late. And uh, I think batting first was always going to be more of a test for Williamson as well because then you have to play more shots. You can't just have Abhishek playing all the shots and then putting too much pressure on him. So you saw him try a few shots and he got out eventually trying to play an uppish kind of a shot versus Shami. Not an uppish shot, but he didn't
Yeah,
read it well. There
true.
was a square leg sent back just a ball before, so he was probably expecting a short one, and then Shami bowled it very tight on the stump. So again, sometimes you just have the good over someone, and then no matter whatever you do, it somehow works in your way, and that's what's happening with Shami as well. He's bowling well and is getting the right rewards up top.
I'm really excited to talk about Gujarat Titans, but before that, let's talk about one more thing from Sunrisers Hyderabad as well. Because Sunrisers Hyderabad are a team who have relied heavily on their fast bowlers. But do you reckon in this game, in a game like this, they really needed a spinner to control one end? Other than Washington, so that they were really searching for options as well. Washington, you can say he did a very decent job, 4 overs, 34 runs. You would take it on a ground like Wankhede, but then Sujit was actually delivering a lot more for Sunrisers Hyderabad than what Washington was actually.
So again, I think that's a call that they'll have to take because Suchit was getting wickets from them, and that is something Washington will also take. And to be very fair to Washington, he's coming back from an injury, and he did look a bit not underprepared, but a bit. It happens, when you're coming back from injury, you're not at your best in terms of how you're bowling, and it showed in the way. But he still did a fair job, as you said, and I don't think the game, nobody thought the game going down the way it did. I really think it was down to the bowling changes towards the end.
Yeah.
I felt had they should have bowled out Jansen earlier,
You reckon
and they,
who else could have possibly gone for? If you look at the bowling card, the only option they had in the last was Shashank Singh. You rightly mentioned that they could have possibly finished off Jansen, but then at
yeah,
that point they were also looking to finish the game off in the 16, 17 over, pick up one wicket there, then they're right there to cruise a win.
yeah, and again because see, it is a double-edged sword. Like when you bowl out your best bowlers earlier, even the opposition knows that this is the plan, so they can then not take too much risk and yet get enough out of that over so that they are not pressured to take on the key ball. And that's what they both Rahul and Rashid did, right? They if there was a bad ball, they ensured that it doesn't go unpunished,
Yeah,
and then it was set up for the last over. And nobody sums it up more than Mulidaran with his expressions that why is he bowling full to Rashid? And but when he bowled short, I think it was telegraphed to the batter that he is going to bowl short, and Rashid was ready for it, and
true.
it just hit it. So I don't know. It is just sometimes Gujarat are finding ways to win from improbable situations.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
mean,
know till when you don't know till when it will continue to happen. But as long as it's happening, I don't think they are going to complain.
of course, at the start of the tournament, nobody really expected this team to go this far, even, and of course,
Yeah.
they're proving all the critics wrong. But before we go to Gujarat Titans, let's talk about Umran Malik once again. Is it
Yeah.
too early to say, or can he get that Indian cap very soon? Because he's a tearaway fast bowler who can bowl just through the middle overs, and that's a kind of bowler which you lack in our country as well. There's so many bowlers who can bowl up front and finish off in depth, but then middle overs kind of a bowler who can run in, ball quick, pick you up wickets there. Can he be
Yeah.
can he be handed over a cap in the white ball format? Considering there are two World Cups and one in Australia, of course, and one in India in next 1.5 years.
I think he'll be in with a shout for the T20 World Cup for sure. Uh, Given the way he's done so far, and given how his bowling is shaping up in terms of his performances in crucial situations, it's not that he's come in with no pressure on him. He has come in with some kind of pressure, not too much, but he's shown that he has options. When he wants to go full, he has the confidence to go full and pull it off well. He has the short ball is obviously his strength, but he has a very good Yorker as well. So something that we talked about that with pace you need good control, and he's showing that he has that control as well to know when to use the short ball because it has to be a surprise weapon. And
Yeah,
when you are expecting the short ball and then you get the full one, you see what happened today to all of the Gujarat batters. Most of them,
yeah.
apart from Hardik, were out on that foolish Goodland ball.
Absolutely. And of course, as always, he backs the fastest delivery of the match as well.
Yeah.
And for the for the end time, I'm even lost count of it. And finally, I can say a good fastest delivery, which was a wicket of Riddhiman Saha, which is the fastest delivery of the match. So it truly deserved that.
153 deserves wicket, no matter when
Yeah, that
where,
deserved a
when it's
wicket.
bowled.
Yeah, usually you say a fastest delivery being clobbered for a 4 or a 6, and you still wonder why
Yeah.
is that award even being there. Let's talk about Gujarat Titans now.
Yeah.
Rashid Khan, last week around when Sunrise Hyderabad management came out saying that he's not a wicket taker, he's not going to be the number one team man in our list. You reckon that any other team in the world, he just walks in as a number one team player, isn't it? In any other team should because of what he just not brings with the ball, but also with the bat these days because his all-round ability and also leadership skills is just so invaluable for any team.
See, we have to also understand that teams are not going to openly acknowledge what went wrong for them. So I wouldn't have imagined SRH Bharat came out and saying that, oh, we miss Rashid Khan and we wish we could have had him. So they are going to find ways to not put him down, but say that they did what they wanted to, which is a fair thing to say as well as a franchise. But it would be stupid to say that you're not going to miss Rashid Khan. He's such a guy, such a bowler with both bat and ball. Now he's won them 2 games now
Yeah.
with the bat. And well, you can't say that he won them all by himself, but he's contributed at crucial junctures and he's yet to fire with the ball. Now imagine if he starts to fire with the ball,
Yeah.
where will he take this Gujarat Titans team? And because this is now a 10 team cycle, it's very hard to now think that Gujarat will ever let him go. So
True.
it's probably it's probably set in stone now that it's unlikely that any other team could get him unless
Right.
something goes horribly wrong at Gujarat.
Absolutely. I mean, now considering he's also vice captain of this team, you really expect
Yeah.
him to be one of the mainstays of this team for a very long time. Let's talk about that finish. Rahul Tewatia and Rashid Khan. Of course, we didn't mention about Rashid Khan. Rahul Tewatia especially. It's not the first time he's been there in the finish line and also orchestrating another win. What is giving him that nerves of steel? Because he's turning out to be a very good finisher. And though people know that he's got one arc, one range where he always says it's that square leg to mid wicket. That's an area where he always targets. But still,
Yeah.
ballers are failing to get their length right against him, isn't it?
See what works with such guys is what I feel is the clarity in their mind. Now, because they know that they are not here to build an innings or something, they know their role is very simple: go out there and hit out no matter whatever happens. And that
Hmm.
clarity at times helps you think very clearly that okay, this is what is to come, this is what my plan is going to be, and then let's go whatever. Because he did miss a few, even which were there in his arc. So at the in the end of it, it's always about getting execution right in one way or the other. And because Rahul is clear in his mind that he's there to hit sixes, he's able to pull it off. I do feel better bowlers will test him out, but well, so far they don't have an answer to him as
Yeah.
of now.
I mean, so far he has won them 3 matches, and that's what you really need from a number 6 batsman. And he's batting; he's just playing in the team as a batsman now. He's not even bowling, and they're just using him as a sole finisher, and he's delivering with perfection. What more do you want from him? Let's
Yeah,
talk about another player. We wanted Ramanullah Gurbaz for a very long time, but then this lad, he's got a strike rate of 160 in the power play, and today he played a magnificent knock. That's none other than Riddhiman Saha, the
yeah.
I don't know how to put him, the U man, the Yuku man, whatever you call him. He's just been there. He's always seen it. He's so underrated as a wicketkeeper batsman, especially opening the batting. Today the pitch was
Yeah.
just suiting him as well. What did you make of that knock? Because that knock was so essential in this victory, isn't it?
Well, he just ensured that nobody forgets that he loves to play at Wankhede. He's hit a century at this ground 8 years before. So again, something that
Is it
I
the
said
same
about
ground?
him earlier. Yeah, he played it. He did that at Wankhede only, not the century that he hit in the 2014 game.
No, I
So
think it was
uh,
Sinnaswamy because it was Sinnaswamy.
okay, I'll
Okay,
just check it while
whatever.
we are at it.
He just loves playing. He just
So
loves playing against prices. That's how
yeah,
we'll put it
and
there.
see that as we said that when you have a guy like him up top, you want him to not take too many balls to get going. Sometimes it's been the case with him, but the way SRH bowled today, I think they were waiting for a mistake to happen, and it did not happen, and they ended up giving away a lot of runs. So
Yeah,
it can happen on some days, and today was the day where Gill was happy to take the back seat, and because Saha was getting those boundaries in, you see most of it was on his pads or on the body, but very short and leg side-ish. And Saha is
right.
not a bad player of the short ball. He can use the power play well at least,
Yeah,
and that's what he did today. I think good tempo for him all the time. And yes, that century was in Bengaluru.
yeah,
So yeah, I got that wrong, but I think he has played a very good knocks at
yeah.
uh, Vancouver before. Yeah.
Batsmen love playing it because of the true bounce, and today was another
Yes.
belt of a surface.
Yeah.
As we speak about Gujarat Titans as well, Sunrisers Hyderabad, they won 5 and 5, always chasing. Now, is this actually a weak link for them defending scores? We have to talk about it. We have to ponder about it because we did consider them as a very good team bowling first and setting a target for themselves to chase. But all of a sudden now, when they have put a score on board, which I believe is a very good score of 195, they failed to defend it. That also, just giving away 22 runs in the last over is never a good sign. You reckon this is actually a weaker link for them? Now teams will be eyeing on this spot that win the toss and chase against them. They really don't stand a chance.
See, most teams will be tested in this regard. It's no surprise in that regard because it is a tough thing to bat first and set up a good score, set up a score where you have the buffer of a weaker bowling performance as well. I don't think SRH are probably one of the stronger bowling attacks, and for them to come off like this, I think they have now won only one game out of the 8 games that they've played at Wankhede. So
Right.
they don't enjoy the conditions here. So I think toss was important. Again, one of those cases where the pitch report said that it will be dry, it will help the spinners, but nothing of that sorts happened. And there were a lot of eyebrows as well when Hardik elected to bowl first and not bat first. So a lot of
Right.
us felt that if the deck is supposed to slow down, then this is a massive score to have on board. But
Yeah.
again, the pitch report literally went for a toss, and Hyderabad found it the hard way. So I'll say it's a good opener. If SRH were not winning games, this would have really scared them. But because they won enough games now, this gives them a good eye opener of sorts that, okay, there is still a lot to work on, especially if you're defending scores. And they haven't done it so far. So this was the first real experience of something like this. And over the years as well, we've seen SRH try and find it harder when the surface is true, when there is good value for runs on the board. So they've
Yeah.
preferred surfaces where there is some help because then they take new ball wickets and then they set it up. Today they did not take any new ball wicket, and something that we've discussed time and again, that new ball wickets are the ones that set the tone for your side, and
Yeah.
every team defending scores wants them very early.
True, and that's rightly mentioned by you as well. Talking about it, let's move to another segment of the day, which we all love, of course. It is the fantasy segment. Like, how did we all far up in the fantasy segments? Whatever game, whatever league you played, of course, you want to check that how far did your team perform and what are players did you have in that lineup? Nikhil, how many players do you have, and how did your day go there?
I can say it was a wavy, could have been a wavy day before it was saved by Umran Malik Rashid. Obviously, I didn't have Abhishek Sharma because I genuinely felt Gujarat, the way they bowl, they should be able to get him out early, but they didn't. But it's okay. Not many people had Abhishek, but many people surprisingly, sorry, many people surprisingly didn't have Umran Malik. So that
Oh,
to me was a surprise that okay, how
I
can you
think
not
this
have
game
Umran?
you're spoiled for choices because you have so many ballers to pick. Who will you pick? You have
Yes.
a Natarajan, you have a Bhuvi, you have a Loki, you have a Shami, you have a Rashid as well. So how do you can you? So I have a question here. In
Yeah.
these games, at least, can you go in with 7 ballers in your lineup?
I don't think any platform allows 7 bowlers.
Sorry, no, you don't. You can go with 7, but at least you can pick 5 ballers who can absolutely
See,
be,
yeah,
in your gut feel will do well.
yeah. So my team too had 6 bowlers.
Yeah,
If I had Umran Malik in that team, that team would have won the Grand League because Mohammad Shami was the captain, and it had Abhishek Sharma, it had Eden Makram, but it didn't have Umran Malik. So I think that was a good chance for me to get a good amount today. But again, the team was made in such a way that I didn't feel Gujarat will lose too many wickets. And then the vice captain there was also Saha, so that was a great, good visualization, but didn't see Umran taking wickets. But in such scenarios, when it's easier to pick sides when they're bowling for, say, Natarajan or a
right,
movie, it makes it
true,
easier that when they're chasing, you have to assess which are the bowlers who preferred bowling first mode. So,
right,
but you will still take Natarajan because he's taken wickets. Bhuvi, if there is swing, then you can say that okay, he's likely to take. But
right,
I think people who bowl in the middle overs are always handy in second innings, be it spinners or pace bowlers, because if the game has to go deep, wickets have to fall in the middle overs. If that's not happening, then the game is not going to go too far. So that is
right.
how I thought about it. Again, incredibly lucky that despite negative points from Lockie Ferguson and Rashid at the midway mark, still ended up being in profit. But yeah, crazy game thanks to Umran Malik from the fantasy angle for sure.
Absolutely. That's a very good point which you have raised as well. Now, talking about that, of course, on games like this where you need to set up a perfect combination, you need to plan out well as well to put a perfect team to earn better as well. Of course, I know you're
Yeah.
taking a course on that with Nadabot Sports, and if you guys want to avail that course, just click the link on the description. And Nikhil is going to be talking a brief about it right now. Nikhil, handing over to you on that.
Yes, again, I don't know, it's not planned, but every day we are getting very good examples of how to select a team that can still help you be in profit. We've seen risky picks come off. So you have to then spend enough time trying to visualize the game in a way that, okay, safe players are not working. Today, Hardik Pandya didn't work. Shubman Gill got out early. Kane Williamson got out early. So these were the common guys. So how do you then find out the uncommon picks to then bank on? And then probably you can play with two teams, one safe and one very gut and instinct based. And all these factors that I just discussed a while back about how to pick the bowlers to take in first innings, second innings, what is the logic behind spinners doing well in the middle overs or the pacers who do well in the middle overs. So all this logic is what I've covered in that entire course, where it's about how to make a team. This entire step-by-step process of what's the tournament, what is the pattern, what is the venue record,
Right.
which player prefers to do when and what and in what shape. That is the crux of it, because the game is won or lost not by the at the end of the game. It's won or lost in terms of what you're thinking that will happen, because that is what is going to reflect in the teams that you make. So we need to spend a lot of time thinking about the game, and then you join the right contest with the right kind of teams, you will be in profit, because otherwise there is no other way that I could still be here talking about it, because I have had those horrible days in the past, and now I've realized that okay, it's not safe to play with just one team. You need multiple teams because of the way games are going. So you can find out what works for you. Maybe one team might be enough for you, but then you have to give it enough thought. So that is all that I've covered in that entire course. It will help you stay in the run in this field for a longer period of time.
Absolutely, and rightly mentioned by you as well. How do you build a perfect team and a perfect balance? Talking about that, you can always build a perfect team and you can play, pick, and win with Boomer 11 because this is a fantasy app platform where you can absolutely play for free and win prizes worth up to $5,000. So you don't want to miss your chance on that. So give it a try. And of course, you can earn a lot. Test your fantasy skills here as well. Call up your friends, challenge them, and of course be a winner at the end of the day for absolute free of cost. So don't miss out on that. And talking about the content we bring, we are going to be bringing some exciting content on Twitter with our spaces, of course with YouTube as well on post-match analysis. We're going to be having some exciting panel with Nikhil, Jones, Sandeep Bandi, and everybody to break down the game on daily basis. So don't miss out on that. Get onto our Instagram page as well, where we give fantasy prediction on daily basis. So why would you miss out on making a perfect 11 from our end? So we give you the best possible 11 what you can make. So get and test your skills there by making a perfect 11. Of course, having said that, thank you, Nikhil, for joining. I know it was a cracker of a game, and that's what IPN
Yeah,
always gives you in the business end as well. And when Gujarat Titans plays, especially. So thank you for that.
yeah. Thank you. Cheers to Gujarat Titans. Happy winnings.